Selling luxury real estate isn't just about property, it's all about presence, positioning, and personalization. So, if you've ever felt unsure of how to lead a high stake sales call with your HNI client, then this video is your blueprint. Hello, everyone. I'm Sonia Kamboj. With 20 plus years in real estate marketing and leadership, I've seen how a well planned and well structured sales call can make or break your deal. In this video, I'm going to take you through a proven 5-step structure that can turn your calls into conversions, especially in the world of high stake luxury real estate. So grab your cups of coffee and let's get started with today's episode. If you've still not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and let's dive in right away. If you're a real estate professional where you're selling a luxury high-end real estate property, a residential or a commercial property which is worth 5 crore and above, or like homes, villas, or premium apartments, especially to HNIs, which is high net worth individuals, then stay with me right till the end of the video because I'm going to be sharing with you my own proven 5-step structure that you can turn your calls to conversions. Common mistake that most salespeople do is they jump right into the property talk. In luxury real estate, you're not selling a flat, apartment, villa, plot. You're selling a lifestyle. You're selling an address. You're selling an identity. You're selling a legacy. You're selling neighborhood. Before I share the 5-step structure, one thing of utmost importance: preparing for the call before the call. It's very important to understand your buyer persona, whether they are millennials, they are Gen X, they are Gen Zs. So you really need to understand where your customer is coming from, what age group are they, where are they working, where have they been living, if they have a family, then where are their kids going to school. So all that will give you a little idea of the profile of your customer. So you would have people who might be the first time luxury buyers. They want lifestyle, they want prestige, maybe they want investment clarity, or they're looking for convenience. On the other hand, you would have clients who already own property, but they're looking to upgrade their current living. They want to secure legacy homes, or they just want to diversify their assets. And still you'll have those tech-savvy Gen Zs who are interested in smarter homes, environment-friendly, sustainable kind of projects, or who might be also looking for some fractional ownership of luxury properties. It's very important for you to understand, who are your target customers? What is their persona? Where are they coming from? And what are they aspiring? And why are they looking at buying a particular property? So when you're preparing for the call, do a little bit of research about your client. Today, everybody is on social media, be it LinkedIn, be it Facebook, Instagram, and most of these working professionals, they are on LinkedIn. So please check out their LinkedIn accounts. You will get to know their job title, their location, their interest, what is the kind of achievements that they've had in their professional life. So you'll get all that information from there. And you plan to open your conversation with him, something which is on a personal note, which also gives a good impression to your client that you've done your homework. Now that you've prepared before you call the customer or you meet your clients, let me now share with you my 5-step structure. First goal should always be to establish credibility and command your presence within the first 5 minutes of meeting or talking to your customer. As this will not be a casual call or a meeting, it's a high value conversation that you're having with your client. So you must open with clarity and confidence. So what you need to do is you start with a very warm and a confident introduction of yourself. For example, you can say, "Thank you for taking out time today. I understand that your time is valuable and I want to make this conversation relevant and impactful for you." Or you can even say, "Hello, Mr. Kapoor, thank you for your time today. I know your calendar is packed, so I'll keep this meeting or this call very focused. I'd like to understand what really matters to you in your next home and share what may be worth your attention." So mention who you are, but briefly focus on what value are you going to be bringing on table for him. Share what the client can expect in the next 20-30 minutes that the client is going to be with you either in person or over a call. You can can say something like that we'll cover what you're looking for, what truly matters to you in a home, and if we are a good match to move forward. Or just simply say that this call will take 20 minutes, we'll understand your priorities, and I'll share options that fit your lifestyle. Here, I just want to give you one more tip. Speak slower than usual. Measure your words, your pitch, your tone, because luxury clients, they don't rush. See, your clients might be a NRI from Dubai, or he might be just a business couple from Delhi itself. So you position yourself as a consultant and not a seller. Once you've opened your call, you've set the context. Now the next goal should be to ask questions that uncover their aspirations and not just the features that they're looking for. As luxury buyers don't always tell you what they want, because even they are still trying to figure it out. So ask better questions like what you don't want in your next home. When you imagine yourself in your next home, what does a day look like, feel like? Are you planning to live here, or it's more of an investment? Better, you could ask what is the driving factor behind your next property purchase. Better still, if you are clueless about what the client is expecting, you can simply ask them, sir, what does luxury mean to you? Because for each person, the definition of luxury is very different. So don't go with the assumption that if one client said that this is luxury for them, it's applied to every customer. No, it's going to be totally different. For some people, space might be luxury. For some, location might be luxury. For some, what are the amenities and features and neighborhood? That might be luxury. And asking all this, why does it matter? Because like I just mentioned, in luxury, buyers are rarely going to tell you what they are looking for. Your job is to listen to them and try to see what is in between what they're telling you. For example, if they mention privacy, say 2 times or 3 times in the conversation, so which means they are emotionally driven by peace. Show them homes with some gated communities, some privacy that they get, low density areas. And here, try and use some listening filters. Say, for example, if your client says that I want a quiet location, what they're trying to tell you is that they don't want noise fatigue, or they prefer privacy, or they may be an introvert kind of person, so they don't want very large neighborhood or too many, flats in that kind of surrounding. So they love to be like in a place which gives them their own space, even when they're outside the home. Or if your client says that we host often, so which means they have a lot of guests coming in all the time. So they may be prioritizing some entertaining space in the home, or they might be looking for apartments which have a garden or a terrace with some open kitchen concept. So please ask questions which will give you enough clarity of what exactly your client is looking for. Your next goal should be to position your property as a lifestyle, because here it's time to connect their aspirations to your offering. Or in better words, link their aspirations to the experience that your property is going to provide to them. Don't say that this is a 4 BHK with 4,000 square foot of super built up area and 3,200, 3,500 of carpet area, or this is a 5 BHK of say 6,000 square foot with Italian flooring and with open kitchen. So don't get into features. Instead, what you can do is say this home offers uninterrupted your morning sunlight, you have a private terrace, and the views that actually are going to give you the calm experience that you're looking for. Remember how you mentioned privacy? This apartment is built with minimal shared walls. Now, what does it tell the customer? That, okay, fine, I'm not going to have somebody peeping into my balcony or looking through my windows what I'm doing inside the house. What you're doing here is that you're trying to anchor the benefits of what they just told you. You're just trying to paint pictures around it. And here you can use techniques like mirror their words back to them. Use storytelling. Most commonly which people use is that they relate it to another client who's already bought the property and the kind of experience that the person has, or the reason why he bought the property. And once you've actually done all of that, the next goal should be to address if they have any doubts. See, objection handling is almost like, I would say, objection handling is like 40%, if not more, whether the client is happy with your conversation, how you're leading it through, or he's going to be actually buying your property, because all the doubts that the customer has in his mind, you are trying to clear that doubt, right? So this is a very, very crucial point. And here you have to handle the objections or the hesitations in a very elegant manner and never get defensive about it. If they raise concerns, please acknowledge. Don't start justifying or arguing with your client. So for example, let me give you one objection if the client has it, that this feels a little far from the city. Simply say, sir, I hear you. May I share why other clients have preferred this property or this location? It gives them the space without compromising on the access. Proximity to the expressway cuts the commute time by about 20 minutes. And the new club that is coming nearby to the property is going to create its own ecosystem. Now, what you're trying to do is you're subtly trying to address the concern that it's going to be far from the city. So maybe, he'll not find that ecosystem where your property is located. See, to handle objections, the best thing is you can use some case studies, you can use some market research, use your own customer testimonials. With this, you can give assurance to your customer without pushing too hard. You can say something like, you don't have to decide today. Take a walk through the floor plan again, or if you want, I can show you our model apartment, our sample apartment, or whatever the terminology that you are using in the show apartment that you have. See if fits how you live. Well, the objections are too many. There might be objections on location, price, it could be, your payment terms, it could be your legal agreements, name of the builder itself, or it could be the amenities. So the objections will be of different types. Well, if you want me to somewhere down the line to help you with any of the objections that you're facing and you're figuring out that I don't know how to handle this objection, I'm happy to get on a clarity call, which you can book. There is a link given in the description below. You can just click on that link, schedule a call with me, and then we can discuss what is the objection that you're facing, and I can help you out with that. When any client is raising any objection, watch their language and their body cues. You'll get to know a lot through that. Most of the time, their objection in a way might be also telling you that they are not seeing enough differentiation in the property, or they're very unsure of the resale value, or they're feeling that you're pushing them too hard for a closure, or they are not the eventual decision makers of the property. So if, for example, the decision maker or the final yes or no is going to be done by the father or the wife, then you are talking to the wrong person, or you're trying to convince the wrong person. And once you've handled all their objections, you should close with one clear next step. Luxury home buyers, they don't like ambiguity. Be very clear and crisp, but be polite with them. Give them some space. Don't pressurize too much. But don't end your call or your meeting with a client with a line which I very oftenly hear from salespeople is, okay, sir, let me know. Now that is something that is the client will let you know, which means you're not keeping any room for your further or your future conversation with your client. Here, basis the conversation, how it's leading in, either you can schedule a site visit, maybe in the coming weekend or this week or the next week. Figure out which day the client is more comfortable. What is the convenient time that he would like to come for a site? Just add, I'll ensure that you get a curated experience at the site. Just simply add by saying, sir, is it okay if I WhatsApp you a short video walkthrough? It'll give you the feel of the entrance and the views. Also, what you can do here is, before you end your call, you should try and further qualify your customer by simply asking in a very casual manner that, sir, have you seen other projects also? Then the client will tell you, okay, fine, I'm looking in this location, I'm looking in that location. That will also give you an opportunity that which are the other projects he's looking at and how you can position your project in a better way to the client. हमारे सेल्स में ये बहुत कॉमन होता है कि आपकी लीड हॉट है, वार्म है, कोल्ड है. आपने किसी कस्टमर से बात करी और आपके अंदर रिव्यू मीटिंग चल रही है, आप हर कस्टमर को ना हॉट कैटेगरी में डाल दोगे, राइट? बट वो हो सकता है कि वो कस्टमर आया देखने के लिए, वो अगली बार भी आया, बट हो सकता है he is kept his closure of the property as an open transaction. He is probably just scouting for the property, but he is not looking to buy maybe for the next 6 months. Now, if he is not looking to buy for next 6 months, then he is not your hot lead, right? So, in order to do further qualification, there's always a question question that you should always ask, maybe in the beginning or towards the end, because by then you've become a little comfortable with your client. Your client has become a little comfortable with you. And then if you ask that, sir, is there any timeline that you have in mind to close the search of your property? Then the client will tell you, okay, fine, I'm looking to buy within this month, or I'm looking to buy within this quarter, or I've not thought of any particular timeline. That'll give you an idea that, whether buying a property right now, is it a priority for him, or he's right now just scouting for some investment opportunities. And certainly it'll be also as an added benefit if you come to know that are there any other people involved in the decision making, or the person that you're talking to is the sole decision maker. So if you think wife is also a decision maker, or the parents are also a decision maker, or the kids are the decision maker, then you need to handle your client accordingly. So always end your call or your meeting with at least one action, so that there is no ambiguity and you know what is going to be your next step. So that was my 5-step structure which I wanted to share with you. Please understand that you're not selling real estate. You're selling comfort. You're selling maybe pride, aspiration. You're selling them assurance. You're selling them a story. So luxury sales call or a sales meeting is not a pitch. In my language, if I have to say it, it's a dance between trust and timing. They aren't hard sales. They are curated conversations that you're having with your clients. Always prepare before your call and follow this 5-step structure that I shared with you, which is like open with the presence, ask deeper questions, position your property as a lifestyle. If there are any objections, handle those objections with patience, qualify your client very smartly, and always close your call or a meeting with the client with at least one follow-up action. If you're in real estate sales, and if this structure really helped you rethink your sales approach, and if you want more of such content, hit the subscribe button. Drop in a comment if you want me to cover how to close a customer during site visit, or how to give a good site experience to a customer. Well, there's so much that we can talk about, but certainly not today. I'm going to see you in my next video, and do share this video with all your friends and colleagues. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.